I'm following two extraordinary actresses, but I'm also following one extraordinary human being, which is the Queen.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be comparing the 3 performances of Queen Elizabeth II on The Crown.
Elizabeth Mountbatten, for she has now been replaced by another person, Elizabeth Regina.
In this essay, we'll be looking at what the 3 actresses who played the monarch in the Netflix drama brought to the role, and what made each of them stand out. Which performance surprised you the most with its accuracy? Let us know in the comments. Playing a figure as renowned as the Queen comes with its own challenges. Everyone's looking to see how accurately they move, behave, and even dress as the monarch.
Of course, I have to be like her as much as I can, but also I have to tell, a story.
Claire Foy credits her strong posture to the corset she wore throughout season 1 due to having recently given birth, while Olivia Colman said that a director told her she walked, quote, a bit like a farmer and had to be taught to walk like a royal. Others will listen intently for the Queen's distinguishable dialect.
The high standards we in the monarchy are held to by the public must be the same benchmark to which we hold ourselves personally.
Subsequent Queen Elizabeths, Olivia Colman and Imelda Staunton also had the added pressure of following their predecessors' performances. So how did they compare to the real Queen Elizabeth II? How did they compare to each other? And what unique spin did each actress bring to her time on the show? All 3 actresses and the rest of the cast worked closely with dialect coach William Conacher.
The dialect coach, William, who's amazing, came up with a way of us getting into it, as it were. And that was to say, dirty mouse. House.
He compared teaching an accent to a choreographer breaking down dance moves, one step at a time. The actresses were taught how to train the muscles in their mouths to improve their diction, to barely let the words slip between their teeth, and use specific keywords and phrases to help them tune in to the voice.
If you say E-A-R-S...
Ears?
That's yes. Ew.
I'm sorry. Say it as the Queen, please.
Is.
While all 3 maintain the Queen's tight-lipped and distinct way of speaking, you can also hear more modern undertones as time progresses.
And feeling. And compassion.
Haven't we heard all this before? 1,000 times. Haven't we read it in newspaper articles 1,000 times?
Still, going back to the very beginning, we first meet a young Princess Elizabeth ahead of her wedding day, aged 21. Her world gets turned upside down when the king passes away, and she ascends to the throne at 25.
God save the Queen! God save the Queen!
The first 2 seasons focus on the young monarch finding her footing as head of state, which is acted stunningly by Claire Foy. The actress captures the character's youth and naivete perfectly.
With powerful characters, more natural leaders, perhaps better suited to leading from the front, making a mark. But for better or worse, the crown has landed on my head.
She was praised for her poised and unflappable characterization of a young monarch settling into her new position. Throughout the 2nd season, we see the young royal's confidence grow, paving the way perfectly for her successor. In season 3, we were reunited with a more self-assured monarch. While Foy's challenge was to convince a Britain recovering from a war that she could lead them forward, Olivia Colman's task as queen was to unite a divided country and meet the ever-changing expectations of her role.
Which might as well be 2 different people. The idealized version of themselves they want to be seen, and the less desirable person they rarely are, hidden away.
You can see that this queen still holds on to the same values she had in her youth. However, she's more settled in her position.
When you've been in my position as long as I have, you see how quickly and how often a nation's fortunes can change. Joblessness, recession, crises.
Still, you can also see how the pressures of being head of state have taken their toll. We also need to shout out the exceptional work of the hair, costume, and makeup team. It's almost as if we'd traveled back in time. Imelda Staunton takes things one step further. As the Queen enters her golden years, she begins to reflect on the past several decades.
I hope we can agree that as sovereign, I have made very few requests, let alone demands, in return for the service I have given this country.
From the very first episode, her advancing age is made abundantly clear, and it's a theme that silently follows throughout. The actress does a phenomenal job at playing a woman who carries the burdens of the past while still remaining somewhat hopeful for the future.
If we can't admit the errors of our past, what hope for reconciliation can there be?
As Staunton told ET Canada, she studied the real Queen Elizabeth II as research ahead of donning that crown. If, like us, you can watch her and not just see Dolores Umbridge, well, that's a job well done.
This system, of which the sovereign is the principal beneficiary, is horribly hard on the rest of you.
You too?
That's the job, let's face it.
Another theme throughout the show is the never-ending battle between family and duty.
The two Elizabeths will frequently be in conflict with one another. The fact is, the crown must win.
Foy's Queen Elizabeth fights hard to find the balance, but often finds herself forced to side with the crown. The actress did a phenomenal job of relaying the confusion, frustration, and loneliness that come with such difficult decisions.
It is my duty, as Queen, to refuse Margaret marriage to a divorced man. Everyone advises me so. And yet I will be breaking a promise, not only to my sister.
Additionally, we learn that even the Queen must fight for her voice to be heard and her rank respected. The character's discomfort and irritation are incredibly relatable.
To consider your response in light of the respect that my rank and my office deserve, not that which my age and gender might suggest.
The world was changing quickly, and we saw the royal fight to keep up and ensure everyone remembered who the big boss lady truly was. By the time Colman takes over, the Queen has accepted that her duty must always come first. While in her youth, she tried to negotiate, reason, and even bend the rules, this older Queen almost too willingly sides with the crown, even at her family's expense.
I have a voice.
Let me let you into a secret. No one wants to hear it.
This could have made the character highly unlikable if it wasn't for the actress's perfectly placed nuances. We love seeing these private moments with the Queen where the challenges of her position are etched on her face.
They deserved a display of compassion, of empathy from their Queen.
And they got it yesterday.
They got nothing. I dabbed a bone-dry eye, and by some miracle, no one noticed.
We can sympathize with the complexities of the Queen's dual responsibilities thanks to Colman's impactful performance. As we mentioned, Staunton's Queen Elizabeth is more reflective.
That I am made of flesh and blood, and that perhaps we have fallen short in our duty as a family, and owe them an apology.
As she reaches the end of her annus horribilis, she notes how her decisions have impacted her family, although that isn't to say that the hard choices are all behind her. Still, her sadness is more apparent as she remembers how much she and her family have sacrificed for the country.
And I can see much of that has been my fault. For the record, no one blames you. On the contrary, everyone blames me all of the time.
It's also been fascinating to see how the Queen's evolved as a wife and mother. Foy's parenting doesn't get much screen time, but her chemistry with Matt Smith is on fire. You can tell these two people enjoy each other's company, which helps make their on-screen love all the more believable.
I realize that this marriage has turned out to be something quite different to what we both imagined.
Understatement.
And that we both find ourselves in a
prison.
They're a totally relatable duo with the ups and downs of any relationship. And boy, do they hit some major icebergs. But their love for each other is undeniable. By seasons 3 and 4, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip are more settled. They're comfortable and less guarded around each other. We get some heartwarming moments, although the power struggle from the earlier seasons is still very prevalent.
Why did you never do that for me?
Dance on your birthday?
Yes. Like Salome.
Because, if memory serves, you had your own ballerinas for that.
However, this time we see more of the Queen's maternal side, or, in some cases, lack of it.
Your lack of self-knowledge sometimes is breathtaking.
On balance, I'd say that was an asset.
Everyone knows who your favorite is.
Do they?
Yes.
Some of the season's most fascinating storylines center around her relationship with her children, especially her heir. While some of the Queen's actions might seem unimaginable to many parents, Colman's compelling performance probably had a lot of parents rooting for her too. The generational rifts deepen in the 5th season as the Queen struggles to accept her children's decisions, especially when they don't align with her own values as Queen. The monarch-heir relationship becomes more convoluted when Prince Charles decides that his mother's time on the throne is up.
Whether this institution that we all care about so deeply is in safe hands.
Meanwhile, the poor Queen's marriage seems to be on the rocks as Prince Philip becomes more distant.
Disappointing for us, too. I had hoped we would spend more time together on this trip. I've barely seen you.
I've been busy.
Clearly.
Perhaps season 6 will turn this around, but this Queen has a lot on her plate, and Imelda Staunton brilliantly shows how even the family's rock can start to erode. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Ultimately, what makes the 3 queens so compelling is the seamless continuity between them. Colman and Staunton have definitely put in the work to make these time shifts believable. And, of course, the utmost props to everyone who helped create their royal transformations.
Designed all the costumes and has done an amazing job and made us look very, very
Kate
fine.
Hall makes our job very easy.
So Kate Hall did makeup and...
Because as soon as they've done their thing, you already are 3/4 of the way there.
However, as Staunton explained, they play 3 versions of the Queen at different life stages. So it was more effective to research the actual Queen Elizabeth than to try and mirror their predecessor's performance.
Queen at different times in their lives. And the only people that we need to look at was the real Queen.
Even so, each actress flawlessly continues from where the last left off while making the character entirely their own. Claire Foy and Olivia Colman won multiple awards for their portrayals, and we have no doubt Imelda Staunton will join their ranks. If you ask us, they're all worthy of the titular crown.
The fact is, the crown must win. Must always win.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.